Hello everybody, welcome. My name is Aiden. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to create a new storage account using Azure, and I'm going to show you how to put a file in the new storage account. And so in the previous video, we went ahead and created an Azure virtual network. Now we're going to be creating a brand new storage account. So without further ado, let's get started. And just a reminder, if you haven't subscribed already to the channel, please do so. It will help us so much. Like and share the video. Now let's get started. So we're already logged in to Azure over here. This is our Azure portal. We're already logged in. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and create a brand new storage account. So to create a new storage account, all we do again is gonna come to the navigation menu, or we can search here. So we're gonna come over here to the navigation menu to try to stay in line with our demo from Microsoft and whatnot. So we're gonna click on all services, and then we click on storage account. So in here, we're gonna be clicking on create to create a new storage account. All right, so this is what we get so far when we're creating the storage account. I'm gonna zoom in to show you a little bit of what we're doing. So I'm gonna zoom in here. So in the basic tab, we have our usual suspect, which is our subscription, and here we have our resource group, and here I'm going to put my resource group as AZ-900 Demo Labs, so I can delete this storage account easily later on. And then the storage account name, I'm just going to call it something simple like I teach storage 1. Actually, all the storage account name has to be lowercase, so whenever you're putting a storage account, make sure there's no uppercase. So I'm just gonna call it IT storage 1, and after that, on the region, I'm gonna keep on East US. Now this is the performance tier. The performance tier shows you how do you want your storage to perform. Do you want it standard, disk, or do you want a premium disk? So, and again, we're gonna keep it in a standard disk. And like it says here, recommended for most scenarios, general purpose v2 accounts, or recommended for scenarios with a low latency. So I'm not doing anything special, and even if I was using this for production, I will still use the standard because it meets the criteria of what I want. So now I'm gonna scroll down. This is a redundancy. Now the redundancy is very important if you're doing this on production. You wanna to protect your storage account, or have it highly available. So in here it has geo redundant storage, GRS, but we have several more redundancy option over here. If we scroll down over here, we have locally redundant storage, LRS. Again, this is a low cost option with basic protection, and it basically protects against service rack or drive failure. And again, I'm reading this for you, basically recommends for non-critical. And then GRS, which is the one that's default selected, immediate option with failover capabilities in a secondary region, recommended for backup scenarios. Zone redundant storage, ZRS, immediate option with protection against data center failures, recommended for high availability scenarios. And then geo redundant storage, ZRS, optimal data protection solution that includes the offering of both GRS and ZRS, recommended for critical data scenarios. So as you can see, those two, the GZRS or ZRS or GRS, is something that you would use for your production. Obviously, this one is going to give you the greatest level of protection, and so I'm gonna go ahead and just keep it locally redundant storage. This is not critical at all. I do not care if this storage account data ever works. it doesn't matter. So I'm gonna choose this one. But if again, if you're using this on production, you would want to do something like this: geo redundant storage or zone redundant storage. So LRS is fine for us. And now we have our advanced option. So we're gonna click on next. On here on the advanced, just to kind of zoom in for you, we have require transfer for REST API operation, allow enabling public access on container, enable storage access account access key, or enable storage account key access. And so this is again, this all three of them selected by default. And then I can require minimum TLS version 2.0. It's already required actually. And I can say make it TLS 1 or 1.0, but TLS 2.0 is fine. Default to Azure Active Directory as the registration in Azure portal. I can make that. I'm not going to do that. And then here is additional level of protection. The Azure Data Lake Gen 2 historical hierarchical. I can even select like Azure Data Lake Gen 2, and then the blob I can enable, enable SFTP, and this is all preview on the SFTP, and then enable network file system. I'm not gonna do that. So overall, the advanced comes up with a lot more option. These three are selected by default. I'm gonna keep it as those. On the networking tab, we have, again, let me zoom in for you. We have your enable public access from all network. We can disable public access and use private network or private access. Enable public access from selected virtual network and IP addresses. This is probably the option you want to go with if you wanted to make this super secure. And then on the network routing, Microsoft network routing is the default option. You can do internet routing and whatnot. So this is again, it's all default. I'm gonna just go with the default right now. If I'm doing this on production again, I want to do more planning, so I don't choose something that doesn't make it more, secure for my data. Now on the data protection side, as it says here, this protects your data from accidental or erroneous deletion of or modification. So enable point in time restore for container. That's not checked. And the checked one for the three checked one is default one is enable soft delete for blobs. Days to retain 7. So if this is deleted, it will retain up to 7 days, for soft delete. Enable soft delete for container, days to retain 7. Enable soft delete for file share, days to retain 7. So anything that's deleted, it will be retained for 7 days. So, and then we can restore within those 7 days. And then next, encryption. Microsoft does not let you create a storage account without encryption. Whether you do custom one or use Microsoft one, it's up to you, but you have to you have to choose encryption type. You cannot do none. So the encryption, we have Microsoft Managed Keys, MMK, or Customer Managed Keys, CMK. You choose whatever. If you choose CMK, you need to do more, but I'll just choose the Microsoft Managed Keys, MMK. It's fine. Enable support for Customer Managed Keys. You could do that if you want to, but I'm not gonna do it in my environment. I'm good with the default MMK. So now we have tagging. This is something, again, you could apply, if you want to make sure that you have labeling for certain resources to meet certain tag, maybe production test, whatnot, but I'm not going to do anything. Now it's time to review. We have our subscription, we have our resource group, we have our location, East US, with the name of our storage account. We have our resource, deployment model, resource manager, the performance standard. We're doing our application as a locally redundant storage, LRS. And again, we could have chosen GRS, GZRS, we could choose a lot more option. And then over here, as far as the advanced one, we have secure transfer, allow storage key access, allow storage account key access, allow cross-tenant application. We have minimum TLS 2.0, public blob access. We have so many we chose, and now we're ready to go ahead and hit create. All right, so perfect. This is already created. Now we can go to resources. On the resource tab, we have several options. I'm gonna zoom in for you again. We have upload, open explore, delete, move, refresh, more open and mobile. So we have these options enabled for us, and then this is the options we have selected. We can modify this if we want to change it to different day or different, you know, actual, instead of 7 days, we can make it like 14 days, which is fine. We don't want to do it now. And we have this is our storage account. So now what we're gonna do is we are going to go to the data storage, and we're gonna go ahead and actually try to put a file in there. So in the data storage, we're gonna click on container. We're gonna create a new container, and then I'm just gonna call it I teach. It has to be lowercase again. I teach container one, and then it's gonna be a private, no anonymous access. We could make it where it is anonymous read access for blob. Excuse me. Hello? Ah. Sas da is halza boydum badaite. Diğer waktu sa koyde. Minnek kabatum lamsa kabatan way. Okay, adu obviously is Camila Baroitan Gaslantas. Okay, adu sa katang in zierele. Adu was sa katang isan tumni kuza mal barmara ne. Ani kiride ani lakang isan na sa katang mara ne. Adi markete in zierele ani markete adi diğer ene markas dazo. Tis diğer tam tas sin koy markete adi tumni kuza barsa gazan isan markesin safar leta market agal tu zazo de gal tu sin markete. Okay, and then that's bello. Ana alarm here de وقتها سيتي markete عادي mark 5 ان شاء الله الى نديرسيو marka عادي هذا واحد رابطي انا بس بي وقت اذا بو markete ميلي او دايتي سي كينغ كوي كينغ غادي كلي وكسدين okay okay هاي باي. Okay, so we have anonymous action. So now on the container we have we just gonna call it I teach container one. By default we have private no anonymous access. We can do blob anonymous read access for blob only. We could do container anonymous read access. So we're gonna keep it private, no anonymous access, and then we're gonna go ahead and create it. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go make sure we download a picture and then upload the picture into the container. So that's what we're gonna do. So let's open the container, and then we're gonna go to our Google or Microsoft wants to use Bing, but I'm not gonna use Bing, and I'm gonna just Google AZ-900 and the images section, and then we're gonna copy this one, save as. I'm gonna put it in like somewhere in my pictures, or actually somewhere in my videos is fine. Call it AZ-900. And then I'm gonna go back to my container. I don't need this anymore. I'm gonna hit upload. I'm gonna go ahead and browse to my location. It's gonna be under my video, and I'm gonna choose my AZ-900, and then I'm gonna hit upload. There you go, it's uploaded. Now it's uploaded. We can click on Advanced tab. Under Advanced tab, we can leave everything as default, or we can modify, the block size. We can do hot access tier, for example. We can do hot, cool, archive, and this is something we can discuss in a more detailed demo. But for now, know that there's a lot more flexibility once we do this. We don't have just to, create and that's it. We can control this. Just to give you a summary, if you don't need the data anymore, you're gonna put it in the archive or cool tier. If you need it, you're gonna do hot or hot infrared. So that's what you do. Now, what we need to do is we're gonna go ahead and actually start monitoring it. So on now we went ahead, we created a storage account in step one, and step two we created a container, and we were able to put a file in the container. And this is what the image would look like. I can download it, I can acquire lease. You could do a lot more thing and delete. I'm not gonna do anything like that. And then I'm gonna go back into our main storage and then click on monitoring. Under monitoring, we have insight, and then we can diagnose settings. So now we're here on the main storage account. We can do diagnose and solve problem, and it will give us some of the things we can do if we want to solve a problem, whether this disk is too slow, whether we have problem deleting a storage account or data, whether we have difference to issue. We can troubleshoot it and solve the issue that way. And so that's how we can go ahead, and then we can also come to the monitoring tab all the way here, and we can click on Insight. The inside you can see availability, transaction, success, and success server latency. We have all these metrics to go ahead and actually to analyze if we ever have a problem. And then we could do alerts, we could do matrix, we could do workbook when connected teams, we could do diagnostic settings, and then we could do logs. So many things we could do. But yeah, that's it for the demo. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope this was helpful. If you do like this type of video, please give a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and share the video. It will help us so much. Have a great day and good night. And stay safe.